Paper Things by Jennifer Richard Jacobson, Chapter 3, Catalogs. As soon as I go through the door of Head Start, Omar looks up. He leaves his spot at the water table and barrels into me the way little kids do, wrapping his arms around my legs, the water from his hands seeping into the back of my pants. The happy sound he makes is a cross between a fire truck siren and a guinea pig squeal. Other kids leave the centers where they've been playing and come trap me in a kid cocoon. None of them worships me quite as much as Omar does, but they all love to greet me in the same way. Carol is on the other side of the room, pouring milk into little metal pitchers for snack time. "So glad you're here," she calls, like she always does. I look around the room for Fran, but I don't see her. Omar, who misses nothing, points to the drama center, the area underneath the loft. Today, it's been set up to look like a grocery store. There are shelves with empty food boxes, a bin with plastic vegetables, and a toy cash register. Fran, who is so small she sometimes looks like she's one of the helpers, has a basket on her arm and is pretending to buy groceries. She says the word potato over and over. "Look, here is a potato." I like potatoes. I can't wait to get home and cook this potato. You can make French fries with potatoes. A lot of the kids in this class don't speak English, and that's Fran's way of helping them learn new words. All the teachers are big on repetition. "Buy the potato," says Marissa as she stands in front of the cash register making it ring. "Ari," says Juju, a serious 3-year-old who always wears party dresses and talks in whispers. "Go look in your cubby." Some of the kids return to what they were doing, but a small group pull on my fingers, leading me to my cubby, a painted wooden cube just like theirs. I know what I'll find, but I'm as excited as they are. A small pile of catalogs greets me. "Count them," the kids shout. They count to 4 with me, and then, for fun, we count them all over again. 4 catalogs. 2 of them are for women's clothing, but there is the newest Pottery Barn, which will have pictures of furniture, and best of all, a Mini Bowden catalog. In Mini Bowden, all of the models are kids. I smile a thank you at Carol. "Is there a dog?" asks Omar, who, unlike the rest of the preschoolers, hasn't run over to get his carrots and graham crackers. We take a quick peek inside one of the catalogs, and sure enough, there is a dog. I think it might be a beagle. "6 dogs," he shouts. I place the catalogs on the cutting table and sit with the kids at Omar's table to have my snack. Carol has clipped me a hummus cracker sandwich. The little kids don't seem to notice that my snack is different, or if they do, they don't seem to mind. As I take a carrot from the plate in the center of the table, I wonder if it's time to add a new paper family to the one I've already cut out. I started my first paper family when Mama got sick. She spent a lot of time in bed with books, magazines, and catalogs lying all around her. Sometimes she read to me, but when she got tired, she'd close her eyes and I'd look at the catalogs. At first, I was just looking at the clothing, thinking, "Wow, wish I could buy striped puddle boots or a princess dress." But eventually, I realized that the clothes were laid out like paper doll clothes. That's how Sasha and I got the idea of cutting the people out and making paper families. Back then, Sasha had been my downstairs neighbor, and we spent a lot of time at each other's apartment. In the beginning, there were just 3 people in my paper family, just like in my real family: Mama, Gage, and me. I started with the kids. You should think that finding pictures of kids to cut out would be easy, that I'd have a gazillion choices, but it's not true. Catalogs usually show only part of the model. Most of the time, their arms or legs have been cut off in the layout. In the first catalog I checked, which was an L.L. Bean kids catalog, I could find only one decent picture of a boy. He looked like he was around 7 and was crouched playing with a lawn sprinkler, but he would do. I cut him out and named him Miles. In the same catalog was a toddler girl with dark hair and warm brown skin. She had on a yellow dress with leggings and was cupping a toad in her hands. Best of all, she was smaller than Miles, which was good, since I wanted her to be the younger sister. I cut her out and named her Natalie. Finding their mom was much easier. Most of Mama's catalogs were filled with women. I just had to find a mom that was about the right size. One who didn't fill up a catalog page and wasn't tucked in a tiny box in the corner. One who was the right proportion for my family. Luckily, I found one who looked as fun-loving as my mom. Before she got sick, of course. While Sasha was choosing the people for her paper family, I decided to cut out furniture for mine. First, I cut out a bed that was shaped like a boxy car for Miles. Then I found a white lace canopy bed for Natalie. Later that day, Sasha went home and cut out furniture from her mom's catalogs. Before you knew it, we were creating whole rooms and outdoor patios and even parks with swings and slides and monkey bars. The Home Depot advertisements that come in the mail have the greatest play gyms. My apartment was best for playing paper things. Since Mama spent so much time in bed, we could spread out paper worlds out across the floor of the living room. I showed Sasha that if you set up near a couch or a chair, you could create an upstairs in your home. Sometimes Gage would complain that he was tired of stepping around scraps of paper everywhere, but mostly he just let us be. He was 14 and we were 7, so he was probably glad we weren't bugging him. I shake my head and focus on the 4 catalogs in front of me now. I tear out the pages that I don't want and set them aside for kids to cut up. After snack is skills time at Head Start, and one of the skills the older kids learn is cutting with scissors. When I told Carol about paper things, she asked if I would be the helper at the cutting station. At first I thought I could teach the kids to make their own paper families, but it didn't take me long to realize that the best most of them can do is make scraps. However, a few of them, like Juju, do an alright job cutting out shapes. Carol says I'm a good role model for them. Are you ready? Juju asks. Omar might love me best, but Juju loves paper things as much as I do. She helps me throw away my napkin and paper cup and then walks me from the snack table over to the cutting station. Omar comes too and reminds me to cut out the beagle for my family. My paper family has grown. Now there's a dad, one that looks so kind and strong, one that matches my image of my own dad, who was a war hero, but who died before I was born. 4 more kids and 5 dogs. 6 with the beagle. I thought of starting new families instead of continually adding on to the one I have, but parts of me wishes I belonged to a big family. With a big family, you're likely to have someone watching out for you always. What should we call this dog? I asked Omar. He stops his own cutting. Ripping is more like it, and looks thoughtful. Let's call him... Claire sneezes. Gesundheit, says Fran. Omar's eyes light up. Let's call him Sneeze.